What player are you looking forward to watching this season on the St. Louis Blues?
Hey, this is Brandon Chen. Subscribe to Lock On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, coming from a new computer. That is right. That is why there was only a few episodes last week. My computer broke. And then on top of that, my Twitter account for Locked On Blues got hacked. So it's been quite a weekend. However, I am trying to get back into all my accounts. A lot of my accounts, I have to reset the passwords and all that. So that's why today's screen just looks a little bit different. But we still have a lot of great Blues discussion to get into. Because I asked a question on the Locked On Blues Twitter account prior to it getting hacked. And I wanted to know your opinion on a player that you think is going to perform really well that maybe we're not necessarily talking about enough. So we have that to get into. I also want to talk about Snuggerud again because I am really excited about him and what he can do for this team. And then finally, a lot of you have been complaining as well about the prices of the new sweaters. And I know I briefly talked about it, but I think I need to bring up a valid point that I have actually thought of over my course of being locked out. Get it? Like I'm locked on everything. However, I was locked out of a lot of things. So we have a lot to get into on today's episode of LOB. Again, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video, comment, do whatever you want. It can be positive, it can be negative. Hey, as long as you leave a comment, we're getting engagement, so that's what matters. So I obviously cannot get onto my account. It was okay. By the way, like this happened at like 6 a.m. on Sunday morning. So if you were hacking my account at 6 a.m. on Sunday morning, God bless. But I'm working on getting it back. But I did ask. Okay, who on the Blues will have a surprisingly, I think I spelled it wrong. Good season, comment below. And then I was hacked. So I want to talk about this because I always like asking you questions. I like getting a perspective from my listeners. And I think this actually makes my show really entertaining in that aspect that you have a voice on this as well. So the Drop Hockey show said Tyler Tucker. And then the Tyler Tucker fan page said, yeah, baby. Listen, I am a huge fan of Tyler Tucker, and I have been a huge fan of him since he was on the T-Birds, right? We all know my infatuation with AHL hockey. I love it. I think it's so fun and competitive. And it doesn't get talked about enough, which I will never understand, honestly, why it doesn't. But anyways, Tyler Tucker is one of the most hardworking players. I want to go over some statistics with you because I'm a believer, honestly, in statistics don't lie. They tell a story, but not the full story. So when I go over this, I don't want people to be like, oh my gosh, Hale, he's not that great. Because again, statistics don't tell the full story. However, in the 38 games that Tyler Tucker did play last season for the Blues, he put up 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points total. He was +4, most amount of points that he had wearing the Blue Note. And then the past 2 seasons, he played a cumulative of 26 games, both of those seasons with 1 goal. 23-24, he did have 1 assist, only giving him 2 points, which a lot of people were upset about. And then the season prior, 22-23, he had 3 assists, giving him 4 points, but he was -9 on this season. And Tux, I mean, he does average about a little over 14 and a half minutes, which is really good. And the thing about Tyler Tucker is sometimes he does take these like stupid penalties. And I think that we saw that right especially during the playoffs. But I mean, this season he had 55 penalty minutes. Come on, Tyler, you can't do that. He is such a hard playing type of player. And while those penalty minutes are high, I mean, it's not like some of them are stupid, but a lot of them is because he is truly standing up for the guys on the team and he's aggressive. But overall, he is a solid defensive player. Obviously, he's going to be a third pair defenseman. He's not going to go any higher than that. But hey, you get what you get out of Tux. He plays a hard game. He gives you all he can give. So if that being said, I really like that the Drop Hockey show. Shout out to them. they were able to give some recognition to Tyler Tucker. We have Brendan checking in saying Snuggy. We're going to talk about Snuggy coming up. We have the Rob Father. I like that name, by the way. The Rob Father. I wonder if that was after Robert Thomas or if that's just his name. But we have Alexei Turchenko. He has tools to break out, and he will be a 20 plus goals guy. Oh, Alexei. Now it's really funny because a couple seasons ago, I actually was able to talk to Alexei, and I have to tell you, he is one of the most down to earth players. I mean, he gets along so well with Walks and all those guys on the squad. And you have to remember to keep in mind that he was drafted 113th overall in 2017. So that was in the 4th round. So it wasn't like he went like super early in the draft, but he wasn't like as late in the draft, right? He was in the 4th round, late 4th round. So a little bit later, obviously it was later, but nothing too crazy. But last season, this is why the goal thing has me a little bit confused with all due respect. He played 80 games, 4 goals, 14 assists, 18 points season prior. 82 games, 14 goals and 7 assists. Season prior, 10 goals, 9 assists. Season prior, 2 goals, no assists. So I don't know necessarily where we're getting the 20 plus goals from. I could see if maybe he was on a trajectory to have 20 goals. But in my opinion, I think that you're looking at a guy that can definitely average you about 6 goals for this upcoming season. I know that seems really low, but last season he didn't really do much in terms of scoring, right? And he was obviously a good role player, but I just don't see that 20 plus goals. However, the Rob Father, I want to be wrong. So I hope that you were right. And I like the optimism. We have the Tyler Tucker fan page checking in. We have. I'm sorry, folks. I cracked up because their Twitter name is Tyler MF Tucker. I love it, baby. They have Tyler Tucker. He's been playing on his natural left side, and I do agree. When you have Tucker playing on his natural left instead of the right, you're going to obviously see him playing a lot better. So that is a valid point as well. And then we have Blues fan in Vegas. I love that you're not a Golden Knights fan. We hate the Knights. LTIR, Mark Stone, we don't like him. But we do have Logan Mayu. And this is a player that I agree with you on, Blues fan in Vegas, because the thing with Logan is, yes, there has been maybe a little bit of buzz because people want to bring up his past and use that against him and how he is as a player. But the reality is, he's a pretty damn good player, right? He plays the game of hockey well, and that's what I care about, honestly. And that's the only thing that I do care about when it comes to these players is how well can they play? What can they do to benefit my team? And will they fit in with this squad? And I do believe Logan will. And listen, Logan might not have had the best 7 games with the Habs, but he did play phenomenal in the AHL. So for me, that is what I'm focusing on is how well he did in the AHL. But I want to ask you, all of you that are listening, all of you that might be watching on YouTube, I want to ask you, who do you think is going to be a player that's going to impress you that's not one of the top stars of the team? I don't want to hear Robert Thomas on this one. We all know I love my Robert Thomas, but we know that he's going to be a phenomenal player. We know that about Jordan Kyrou and Binnington, but do we know that about Bushi? Do we think he's going to have a better season? Do we think, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, do we think that Jake Neighbors is going to end up surpassing our expectations? I want to know. Defensively, you could even, you know what? You could say Cam Fowler. I'm giving you that just because of, I'm giving you a pass on defense. We don't have that many good defensemen. So the stats, yeah, like sometimes they suck, but like I'm giving you the pass. But who do you think? I want to see if anybody says Dvorsky. You know what? If somebody says Dvorsky and he ends up having a 20 goal season, you win something. I don't know what, but you'll win something. So I like Dvorsky, so that's like me betting kind of, right? I don't know. But you know what I do know, my friends? I'm gonna talk to you about Snuggy coming up. I know I got one comment on Snuggerud. But first, I'm gonna talk to you about my friends at FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Personally, I love FanDuel so much. Listen, I may not be the most risky gambler, but I do like to bet when it's football season. And this past Thursday, I took Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. He had two. And Eagles money line. It was a little two-leg parlay. I put $5 down, and guess how much I made? I made $5 back. So yeah, I'm a winner, and you can be one too. That's like so embarrassing. Yeah, I put 5 down, I made 5 back, but hey, I didn't lose. So this is what you need to do. If you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting fanduel.com to get started. That's fanduel.com to place your first $5 bet. You know what I think we should all kind of bet on is a great season from Jimmy Snuggerud. Oh, that transition. Well, it's true. Here's the thing. Snugs was at the rookie showcase, and I have an interview that I played the other episode, but I want to play it again and kind of talk about my expectations, my goals of Jimmy Snugger, because there's a lot of pressure put on him. And not negative pressure, positive pressure because of how well he performed in the 7 regular season games as well as the playoffs. I think that we saw a side from Snugger that maybe people were not necessarily expecting. And that's just maybe due to the fact that he doesn't have any NHL experience. You put him in the NHL and then he ends up looking pretty damn good on a playoff team. And also, too, that late in the season, I just didn't expect him to look as good as he did. I know that he has a lot of talent. I was always a big fan of Snuggerud, but it's a playoff team. You have to remember that the Blues were a playoff bound team. And you have a guy that you put in that ends up performing well. He's young, he's fast, he's smart, he can score. He was the lone goal scorer, I believe it was game 2 in the playoffs. So, again, he has made an impact on this team. I mean, when I'm telling you that right now we're just seeing like him treading up the hill, right? He's only going to get better with his development time. And that's where you have to give credit to where credit is due with Doug Armstrong, because at the end of the day, he knew what this team needed. And that's why these draft picks are so crucial and so important, because these guys that the Blues are developing are the future of this team. Now, that's why, again, when we had the offer sheets with Holloway and Broberg, I wanted to thank Edmonton, and I still want to thank Edmonton, because with Edmonton, they were able to give us 2 developed players. And I know there's been drama with Holloway and the whole situation with him being a little bit upset that they didn't try for him. And here's the thing. My friend Nick, he does Locked on Oilers. I want to do a collab with him because I think it's really important to talk this out with Nicholas. We've done a bunch of collabs in the past, but at the end of the day, I feel like this is an episode where I would be doing injustice by not having a perspective from Edmonton where we can truly unravel all that needs to be said. However, going back to Snuggerud, and the reason why I brought up Holloway and Broberg was the developmental phase that they were in with Edmonton. Obviously, they got experience in the Stanley Cup Finals, which is uh, the best type of development, right? And now they're here with us, and we've seen, my friends, how exceptional they've been. So if Snugger, that's the one thing that the Blues, I can truly say, do a really good job doing, is developing players. We've seen this with a lot of our guys, actually. We actually, and I have to say, not to toot our own horn, but it's true. When you look at other teams in the NHL, they don't really have the developmental aspect of this all down, right? They're maybe able to draft well, but not every team is able to develop players the way that the Blues have. And I give St. Louis a lot of credit that. I mean, we look at just there's so many different guys like TJ Oishi, and like so many great players in the NHL, and I can say, hey, the Blues, they did that. So maybe not with Scott Perunovich, but hey, they did that. Anyways, whoa, hail throwing. I like Scott. We actually we're cool, but I've talked to him a few times on his other team. So yeah, all good on that. Anyways, I didn't mean to even like. It was more like throwing a dig at the Blues rather than him. I don't want this to get back to Scott and him be like, "Oh, hail, what's going on?" So no, it was more the Blues. Anyways, I want you to hear from Jimmy Snuggerud himself because he was selected to represent the St. Louis Blues at the Rookie Showcase. Russ Cohen, who does Locked On Flyers, provided me with this video as he was there. Russ does 1,000,001 different jobs in hockey. So he was able to get for me a video of Snugger talking to media because he knew that I would use it. And yes, Russ, I am. So here it goes. Jimmy Snuggerud at the Rookie Showcase.
You like it?
Yeah, I like it a lot. With the color. A lot of blue.
It's a lot of blue. Well, I mean, it is the Blues.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. How does it feel to be here today? Just get to go through all the motions and be a part of this?
It's fun. It's a good time. Kind of meet some other prospects too. See some guys I haven't seen in a little while, but it's good. It's a really fun day.
What lessons did you learn from getting a chance to get in last year?
A lot, like a lot of valuable, lessons. Obviously, it was a tough finish to the season, but it's a valuable experience, in the long run. Just being able to learn and grow off of that and stuff, and just meeting the guys and kind of getting down to St. Louis was a great experience all around.
Will it take a little longer to kind of score the way you were scoring in other leagues now with the NHL?
Yeah, I mean, you never know, honestly. It's the best league in the world, so it's not easy. You gotta get adapted to it. Hopefully I can, and maybe hopefully playing with some really good players. Like I said, it's the best league in the world. So, just kind of take it day by day and not really worry about it.
Anything you've been particularly excited to catch up with today?
I mean, just kind of seeing a couple Minnesota guys, Matthew Wood and Oliver Moore. I was with them yesterday, so to see them again today is cool. And some other, NTDP guys, Pro, William, Leno, and all the guys. It's just nice to see them again.
Can you talk a little bit about Oliver Moore and Cameron Selski playing for the Golden Gophers there?
Yeah, I mean, they're both really good players. Moore's, he's a really fast player. He's speedy. It was nice to play with him and kind of, he makes plays quick and he buzzes up and down the ice, so it's fun to play with him. And then, Rinzi's so shifty.
I loved the question that Russ asked about, how is it going to be scoring in the NHL compared to the other leagues? I actually thought that was a phenomenal question for a multitude of reasons. And I love Snuggerud's response of, the NHL is the best league. And he's so confident and he's so swaggy. I really see a lot of Robert Thomas kind of in him. Maybe not much of the personality right now because I feel like, he's still, developing in the sense of just getting his, confidence and his personality with the media. Because I have to tell you, I'm going to take a little bit behind the scenes as somebody that is a media member for, I am credentialed for the Blues, even though I'm not down there, obviously. But when they come here, I obviously do my content. But I am credentialed. I'm going on my 5th season being credentialed for the Philadelphia Flyers. And I feel like a lot of times when I talk to players and you're in these media scrambles and you have, the phones, it's literally like the phones are like this in your face from a bunch of different media members. It's a very intimidating experience. And there's a player on the Flyers. His name is Bobby Brink. And he was so uncomfortable at first. You can tell when a player's uncomfortable, and he's adapted to it. But those media scrambles have to be, even for me being a reporter, I get anxious sometimes. It's a lot. So I thought he actually composed himself and did a really good job with that. And I know that's something that we might not really talk about on this podcast is the comfortability of players and media. But I just couldn't help but notice how, how the vibe was, right? And I thought he did a very good job. So I want to give him credit to where credit is due. I'm actually texting with Nick from Locked On Oilers. I believe it or not, we all kind of talk outside the podcast world in this network. We're friends. So we're going to definitely do a collab this week, Blues and Oilers. So stay tuned for that. All right. I want to talk to you about the price of the sweaters because your girl was crashing out last time about it. And it kind of got us into a debate on Twitter. Now, obviously, my Twitter account is banned, 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 if you know what you know. But here's the thing. I truly believe, and I don't know why I'm yelling, but I'm going to get passionate. So please, if you want to lower your volume, actually, this is your warning right now. If you don't want to hear me yelling, please lower the volume just a little bit because I'm going to get heated. I will never understand greed. Period, blank. That's it. What I don't get is this. If you have a passionate fan who wants to represent your team, your organization, if they make the cognitive effort to watch media availabilities, to watch every single game, okay, to go to games, why would you make it so expensive for them to buy merch to represent your brand? Oh yeah, so there's money. Okay, that's cool. So they're buying the cable or the package, ESPN Plus, whatever it is, to watch the team. Going to a game, it's expensive. You're not going to tell me it's not. Now luckily, I have credentials when they come to where I live because of what I do, but even if not, like sometimes games, like the minimum price can be at least $100, right? Then there's parking, which is 25 or something around that range. And then there's the food because you can't bring anything in. So then there's that money. Like, you get what I'm saying? It's expensive. Okay. So we have those expenses. And then you're going to tell me, oh, yeah, if you want to get our new sweater, because we have a new note that we came out with after 25 years, I believe it was, or something like that, you're going to have to pay $300 plus. Oh, by the way, it won't be ready for about two months, maybe a little bit more. That's where I get annoyed. I know people said to me, no name is the better option. It's like 150, and I agree. If you don't want to spend an arm and a leg, fine. Get the sweater that has no name. But what if I want to represent Robert Thomas? Oh, because I want to represent Robert Thomas, I have to pay additional money for the A on my sweater. You get what I'm saying? It's like there's never a win. And it's so frustrating to me because like I understand you want to make your money. I thought 230 was actually a fair range for a brand new sweater. But when you're giving me 300 to 450, yes, for 450, because the men's sweaters are actually more expensive than the women's sweaters. But I have to tell you, as a woman, I hate the women's sweaters. I don't like the cuts. I don't like how they look. I like the men's sweaters. So yeah, I get the men's sweaters. The point is that okay, it's expensive. We know that. But there has to be a more affordable option. Like, what if you, and again, I'm not a season ticket holder by any means, because I'm obviously not in St. Louis. But like, what if season ticket holders are able to get like sweaters, like flash deal on sweaters, one sweater per season ticket holder for $100? You get what I'm saying? Like, why is it that all of these companies expect you to spend like $400 on this and that? Like, it's no big deal. I don't know, but they have a new sweater now and a new note. So I got the hat. The hat. It's a beautiful hat. I thought $30 for the hat was not bad. And the shipping was like $5, but that's not bad. I mean, listen, it's a beautiful hat. It's embroidered. I really love it. I know sweaters are expensive. Trust me, I've been around the game for my entire life. I know how it is. But a part of me just felt like when I saw the price of over $450, I I was like, this is insane. This is insane. So let me know your thoughts. I know it's something really stupid to be upset about, but at the end of the day, I wanted to represent my guys. And this knockoff that I got was really bad. So now I have to go find another knockoff. I'm going to be so for real. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to buy it. No, I'm going to find a knockoff. Who can afford a $450 sweater that won't even be here in time for the beginning of the season? It's it just blows my mind. All right, before I get too upset, I told you I was going to yell. I will be back with another episode tomorrow. We have a lot of fun episodes planned for you this week. Again, I'm Haley. I talk Blues hockey on Twitter at Haley T. Simon because my Locked On Blues account is hacked right now. So, yeah, we're kind of down bad, folks. And I had to get a new computer. It's been a day. But you know what's not bad? What we always say at the end of each episode. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's go, Blues.